What you're looking at right now is a photograph taken by a human being, not a telescope, not a probe, a person holding a camera, pressing the shutter from a window of a spacecraft traveling around the moon. And what they captured is something that never existed before in the entire history of photography. The moon, completely eclipsing the sun as seen from space. A perfect dark disk ringed by the sun's corona, its outer atmosphere, normally invisible because the sun itself is too bright to let you see it. Stars visible in the background, which should be impossible when you're photographing something as bright as the sun, and the near side of the moon, faintly glowing, not from sunlight, but from light reflected off the Earth, washing back across the lunar surface from 250,000 miles away. From Earth, a total solar eclipse lasts maybe 7 minutes if you're lucky, and standing exactly in the right place. These 4 astronauts experienced 54 continuous minutes of it, nearly 8 times longer than any human in history has ever seen, and they photographed all of it, from a vantage point no human had ever occupied before. In this video, we're going to go through exactly what they saw, image by image, from launch to lunar flyby. Before we go through these images, it's worth being clear on what Artemis II actually was, because it's easy to hear mission around the moon and not fully register what that means. Artemis II was the first crewed mission beyond low Earth orbit since Apollo 17 in December 1972. That's over 50 years, more than half a century. Every human being who has gone to space has stayed relatively close to home. The International Space Station orbits at 400 kilometers above Earth. Artemis II took 4 astronauts to a distance of roughly 370,000 kilometers, nearly 1,000 times further. Commander Reed Wiseman, pilot Victor Glover, mission specialist Christina Koch, and mission specialist Jeremy Hansen, the first Canadian ever to travel beyond Earth orbit. They launched on April 1st, 2026, and for just over a week, they traveled further from Earth than any human has in over 5 decades. The mission wasn't designed to land on the moon. It was designed to prove that the Orion spacecraft and its crew could make the journey safely, a critical step before Artemis III attempts the first crewed lunar landing since 1972. But what the crew has sent back isn't just data, it's the images, and some of them are genuinely historic. The first images that stopped people weren't from the moon. They were taken in the days before the crew even got there. Right after the translunar injection burn on April 2nd, the engine firing that broke them free of Earth's orbit and committed them to the journey. Commander Wiseman pointed his camera out the window and captured Earth with the Terminator line cutting sharply across it. That's the boundary where sunlight ends and darkness begins. From where they were, they could see both halves of the planet at once. It's a simple photograph in some ways, but it's also the last image in the set where Earth still looks large. By day 2, something even more remarkable happened. As Earth moved between Orion and the Sun, Wiseman captured a photograph that is genuinely difficult to process the first time you see it. Earth is backlit, the Sun hiding just behind it, and the planet's atmosphere is lit up in a thin, glowing arc around its edges. But that's not what makes the image extraordinary. In the upper right and lower left of the frame, 2 auroras are visible simultaneously, and in the lower right corner is the zodiacal light, a faint pyramid-shaped glow caused by sunlight scattering off ancient dust particles spread around the plane of the solar system. It's something most people never see in their entire lives, even from the darkest places on Earth, because our skies are simply too bright. In one photograph, from one window of a spacecraft heading to the moon, you can see auroras, zodiacal light, and the full curvature of the planet at the same time. By day 3, Earth didn't look large anymore. One image that day shows just a sliver, a thin illuminated arc against an absolute blackness. Not a partial view, not a cropped photograph. The entire planet reduced to a glowing crescent because that's how much of it the sun was lighting from that angle, at that distance. Another image from the same day shows Earth shaped like a crescent moon. Our world in planetary phase, barely distinguishable from how Venus looks through a telescope. Except this was home. And then there's this image, Commander Weissman, floating at one of Orion's main cabin windows, face turned toward the glass, looking back at Earth as it recedes behind him. NASA titled this photograph, "Thinking of You, Earth." There's no narration that improves on that. But there's one more image from this part of the journey that is unlike any of the others. It wasn't taken through a window by a crew member. It was captured by a camera mounted on the tip of one of Orion's own solar array wings, looking back at the spacecraft from the outside. And there, in the frame, is Orion itself, with the moon suspended in the distance ahead of it. Not a photograph of the destination, not a photograph of home, a photograph of the journey itself, the ship, the void, and the world it was sailing toward, all in the same frame. In that image, everything the mission was about is visible at once. By April 6th, the crew was close enough to the moon that it filled their windows, and the images from this phase of the mission are something else entirely. The lunar surface in sharp, unforgiving detail. Ancient craters, ridgelines, flat plains of solidified lava that haven't changed in billions of years. The far side of the moon, which faces permanently away from Earth, photographed by human eyes for the first time in over 50 years. The first one was taken at 2:19 in the afternoon, just minutes before the formal observation period began. What you're looking at is the Oriental Basin, a 600-mile wide impact crater sitting right on the boundary between the near and far sides of the moon. You can sometimes catch a glimpse of it from Earth if the geometry is just right, but you have never seen it like this. In the center of the basin is a black patch, ancient lava that punched through the lunar crust in an eruption billions of years ago and froze in place when it cooled, leaving a dark scar that has sat there ever since. To its left, a bright crater sends rays of ejected material stretching outward for 250 miles in every direction. It's a geography that is simultaneously alien and ancient, and the crew was seeing it from just a few hundred miles above. About 3 hours into the observation period, they turned their cameras toward the terminator line, the boundary between the sunlit side of the moon and the side in darkness. This is where lunar photography becomes almost sculptural. The sun is so low on the horizon from this angle that its light rakes across the surface at a grazing angle, casting long, dramatic shadows off every ridge, every crater rim, every highland that rises even slightly above the plain around it. Features that would be invisible under full illumination are suddenly thrown into sharp, almost three-dimensional relief. It looks less like a photograph and more like a topographic map brought to life. Then there's the Vavilov crater on the lunar far side, a deep impact scar photographed up close with a clarity that is almost unsettling. Terraced walls dropping in steps down to a flat floor, with central peaks pushed upward by the rebound of the impact itself. A geological feature that formed in the first seconds of a collision so violent that the moon's surface briefly behaved like a liquid. Vavilov sits on the far side, permanently facing away from Earth, and has spent billions of years in complete obscurity. At 6:44 p.m. EDT on April 7th, the Orion spacecraft slipped behind the far side of the moon, blocking all communications with Earth. No chatter, no back and forth, just silence. It lasted nearly 40 minutes. When you are on the far side of the moon, there is no line of sight back to Earth. No signal can reach you. No one can hear you. You are, by every measurable definition, completely cut off from the rest of humanity. The crew knew this was coming. They had trained for it. But knowing something is coming and experiencing it are two very different things. After the blackout ended, mission specialist Christina Koch was the first to speak, saying, "It is so great to hear from Earth again." Alongside all these surface images is one that reframes everything. Earth and Moon together, in the same frame, Earth appearing small and distant in the corner while the Moon fills most of the picture. That image does something to you that a diagram or an explanation never quite can. You see both worlds at once, from out there, and you feel, not just understand, but feel how far from home these four people actually were. That feeling of seeing your entire world reduced to a small, quiet corner of someone else's photograph is exactly what the Orion spacecraft and the Sun. From the crew's perspective, the Moon was large enough to completely block the Sun, a total solar eclipse, but not the kind anyone on Earth has ever experienced. On Earth, you have to travel to a precise narrow strip of ground, wait for the exact right moment, and even then, the totality lasts a matter of minutes before the Moon moves on. The Artemis II crew had 54 minutes, 54 uninterrupted minutes of the Sun completely blocked, the corona glowing in full detail around the dark lunar disk, stars appearing in the sky alongside it, and that bright speck of light in the image? That's Venus shining brightly in the distant background. The corona, that's the Sun's outer atmosphere, is one of the great mysteries in solar physics. It's hundreds of times hotter than the Sun's visible surface, which makes no physical sense, and we still don't fully understand why. During a total eclipse, it becomes visible as a glowing halo of plasma, extending millions of kilometers out from the Sun in all directions. Scientists have spent decades chasing eclipses across the Earth's surface to study it for a few minutes at a time. The Artemis II crew had nearly an hour of it. From a vantage point above the Moon's surface, with no atmosphere in the way, with equipment designed to document exactly this kind of observation. There's one more image from the flyby that deserves its own moment. As Orion swept around the Moon, the crew photographed Earth setting behind the lunar limb, our planet slowly dropping behind the curved edge of the Moon and disappearing from view. A muted blue Earth with its swirling cloud systems over Australia and the Pacific, sinking behind the ancient cratered surface in the foreground. Now most people will look at this image and think of Earthrise, the famous photograph taken by Apollo 8 astronaut Bill Anders in 1968, Earth rising above the lunar horizon. But this is not Earthrise, this is Earthset, and the difference matters more than it might seem. Earthrise was a moment of revelation. Here is our world, seen whole for the first time, rising into view like a dawn. Earthset is something quieter, and in some ways more profound. It is the Earth disappearing, going behind another world, becoming temporarily invisible to the four people watching it from their windows, as the Moon came between them and everything they had ever known. There's something quietly overwhelming about that, and this image captures the last moment before it happened. Perhaps some of you were born too late to witness the Apollo missions, but you were born just at the right time to see what comes next. The Artemis program marks the beginning of a new era of human spaceflight, and this mission was just the opening chapter. Artemis 3 is next. That mission will attempt the first crewed lunar landing since 1972. The first time human boots will touch the surface of the moon in over a half a century. And for the first time in history, that crew will include a woman, a person of color, standing on the lunar surface, looking up at an Earth that 8 billion people call home. But for now, these are the images we have. A solar eclipse that lasted 54 minutes, Earth setting behind the moon, auroras and zodiacal light photographed together from deep space, 4 people in a capsule, further from home than any human has been in a generation, pressing their cameras against the windows of a spacecraft and pointing them at everything they could see. And every single one of these images is real. So thanks for watching, and thanks to Ground News